What's up, guys? We are coming to you semi-live from Camp Dakota right now. It is September 5th today. We just rolled into Dink early this morning. We had a hell of a last week out here in North Dakota. And basically what we're going to do from now on throughout the rest of the fall is try to keep up as much as we can with weekly videos, live and semi-live stuff on our YouTube channel, just to fill you in as far as in season, what's going down, where we're hunting, what kind of luck we're having. If we're having any struggles, we'll tell you about them too. And we're just going to kind of go with it as the fall progresses. But like I said, we had a hell of a last week here in North Dakota, and then we're going to just, I guess you can start it off. We can talk about whitetails to kick off the season. But
yeah, we were out. There were four of us, me, Ryan, Dylan, and Aaron were out, well, right here, for North Dakota opener last weekend. It opened on Friday, Labor Day. And Aaron and Dylan were hunting. Friday night, the weather was pretty good. Pressure was on the rise. Aaron ended up killing a pretty nice buck, his first velvet buck. Kind of an unorthodox hunt. I was filming him, and we were hunting not too far off of a road, and we had the particular buck on camera quite a bit. I think 7 out of the previous 8 days he was through that area in the daylight. We were set up in a big pea field on this shelter belt. This deer was crossing the road, and we were getting him on camera. He was crossing from the north and coming in. And that night we were sitting there, and we seen several other deer off in the distance and another shooter. And just before dark, all we heard was thrashing through the peas, and all of a sudden 2 does come running in past us, and behind them was a big buck. Well, there was a car going down the road that was stopped on the road watching the buck. Well, the buck must have crossed right in front of the car. Well, he come running pretty much right into our setup. Aaron zipped him and made a good shot, and he only went about 150 yards. So that was cool. Next couple nights we hunted, kind of jumped around to a couple different spots. Weather kind of took a turn for the worse. It warmed up a little bit, kind of muggy. Just didn't feel right when we were sitting in the tree, and we didn't see any shooters the rest of the weekend. But we're back now, and we have a cold front coming in this weekend. It's supposed to be good tomorrow. We actually opted not to hunt tonight just because we want to save our spots for the next couple of days when the weather's supposed to be good. So Dylan and Aaron are on their way back as we speak. They should get in about bar time tonight. And tomorrow night we'll be back in the trees out here in North Dakota, and hopefully the cold front's enough to get something on its feet.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys finished up hunting on Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday was our last sit because Aaron and Ryan had to get back, and they got like a 12-hour drive, so it's impossible to hunt the night and get home for the morning to work.
So I left Monday morning. I sat out opener. I was kind of the odd man out. Decided not to come out here and sit at camp and be camp cook for these guys. So I came out Monday. I had the North Dakota any deer tag. I was lucky enough to draw that the last 2 years now in North Dakota. So we went out to a spot on the west end of the state that we went last year, and I was fortunate enough to film my tag last year out there too. But picked up Brennen in Fargo on Monday morning on Labor Day, and we headed west, and we got out that afternoon actually in time to just set up camp. And we did kind of a little bit of hunt that afternoon, got on the Rambos. There was a new area that me and Dylan checked out after I filled my tag last year, and I kind of wanted to just go back into that public a little further in and just see what there was for bucks there. We didn't see any bucks that night, I don't believe. Maybe one small one, but a handful of does. But it was pretty cool. We hopped on the Rambos, and I bet you we covered a few miles up and down some pretty rugged terrain in no time, and we were able to hop right on hillsides, glass them for a little bit, back up, ride another mile down, glass them again, and it was just pretty neat to be kind of stealth mode and glassing and covering a lot of terrain at the same time, which you normally wouldn't be able to do either walking or with a vehicle. But so our first official day we had a pretty productive day. We did we get a stalking that day?
Yeah, we came in up by that barn.
Oh yeah, so we had
bucks down
so
below.
the first day we glassed up 5 shooters. Actually 4, 2 right away in the morning, and then we were going to close the distance on them, and we accidentally on the way bumped 2 bucks. After we glassed this valley for quite a while, and we didn't see any deer, we kicked up 2 shooters on the way in. So we kind of lost track of some of them deer as the morning progressed, but then we looked to the north, and I want to say it was about a mile away. Brennen picked up a couple really good bucks, and we actually watched them bed up. And I was fortunate enough to where I knew the terrain good there from. It was right where I shot my buck last year. So we hopped on the bikes and got around, and we got within a few hundred yards, and everything was working out to a T. We were coming right over the top of the hill on these bucks, and we were literally probably 3 steps from getting a shot off, and to the left of us there was a smaller buck that was bedded, and he must have caught some of our crosswind. He blew out the hill, and the other bucks, they actually didn't even know what was going on. They got up and they ran to the next hillside and stood there for a few minutes and then just walked right over the knob. Tried finding them again and after that, and we just had no luck. A lot of the terrain we're hunting, you get over one hill and they can go anywhere. But we seen a few other bucks that afternoon that were really nice. And that was about it for the first day. And then the second day, we spotted, I think, 4 or 5 really good bucks right away in the morning. A little bit tougher conditions for stalking in the morning, or second day. We had 0 wind, but we did see 1 buck that we made a play on, and it was pretty cool. We got to see him shed his velvet, and we were coming over this like flat basin to close in on him just to see where he dropped off in this ravine. And when we came over, he was actually working up the hillside right at us to come in bed. The wind was not good for where we were positioned, nor was it really to get a shot very well. But he kept working up to us, and he got to about 40 yards, and we needed him to take another 5-10 steps, and I had a lane that I ranged that I had a clear shot, and he finally caught our wind, boogered, ran out to 70, and I ended up, I had my 40-yard pin set, and I put it, I want to say it was a foot above his back. Guessed the yardage, decided to take a shot, and was good left or right, but just missed underneath him, and he ended up bounding off. But then it got hot for us after that during the day. We didn't see much activity after that. We decided to actually come back to camp, and then we spent some time driving around checking a couple areas out. Since it was so hot, it was like 95, 96 degrees out. But 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we went into a new spot just across the road, kind of from where we were hunting. We seen a good buck over in that general area this morning, or in the morning. Decided to go check it out, and we walked like 300 yards from the vehicle.
It sucked. It was hot. Once we got back to the truck after the morning hunt, it was 95 degrees. We went in way further than we were planning on going in, which happens, it seems like every damn time we do a stalk out there. You go to one stalk and then you spot something else, and you get deep, and all of a sudden you're 5 miles in, you run out of food and water, and then it gets hotter than hell, and it just sucked. Mm-hmm. I was done. Like when we got back after the morning, which was, it was like noon, 1 o'clock probably. Mm-hmm. I was done. We were both gassed.
We ended up walking 7-8 miles between our first official day and our second official day of hunting out there. So,
and it's not straight line miles. It's up, down, and yeah, I was done. I was ready to sit in the truck and
Yeah.
Soaking the
B
AC.
was very, very negative on.
I wasn't negative. I was just gassed.
You were just not up for going to check out where I wanted to check out.
No, I was
So
ready to relax.
anyway, I eventually convinced them to get out of the vehicle, and we walked a few hundred yards over this rise. And the plan originally was to find a shaded spot that we could glass other shaded spots.
You can't
And
do that though. If you're gonna glass shaded spots, you're gonna have to be in the sun.
On a side hill. You get on a side hill.
No, it's not how it works.
But anyway, so we pop over this rise, and there's not a single piece of grass you could get any shade to hide your body on. But we did find there was a group of fence posts I snuck up to, and when I posted up there, Brennen said hindsight, he was going to come and make a smart ass.
I was like seconds away from coming up there and be like, nice fucking shade we got here. And Mike sits down and instantly starts glassing straight in front of him. And I'm just kind of a few yards behind, kind of lollygagging, and I sit down, I set my pack next to me, I look over here 150 yards, I'm like, Mike, there's a nice buck right here.
So, yeah, wind was in our favor. He was just up on his feet, middle of the afternoon, feeding, and luckily enough, like, he was just totally in the zone. And we backed up over the hill, circled around a little more to get the terrain better in our odds, and came up over the top on him. And we didn't even crawl, we literally walked right up to the deer. And there was a little bit of grass, taller grass that was in our way, and luckily enough, the hill kind of dipped off where he was, and I got 25 yards from him before he even had a clue anything was going on, and ranged him. He turned his head, he kind of knew something was going on at that point, and he was at a hard quarter, and I figured it was either now or never. Put the pin just in front of his back leg, and slid the schwacker right up through him, and he went 100 yards, tipped right over in the bottom of the hill, and we were tagged out in 2 days.
Yeah.
So
that new schwacker came out with a new fixed blade, the Levi Morgan series fixed blade, and this is the first animal that we've killed with it.
unbelievable.
And, it looked like he shot him with a 12 gauge slug gun, and this deer ran 100 yards, and I've never seen so much blood pooling out of a deer. I mean,
It was crazy.
It was
I would
nuts.
I would recommend checking them out. We've been playing around with them, or I've been playing around with them now for the last month and a half, and they group just as good as my field points. But anyway, after taking pictures and everything else, 4 hours later, we got them packed out of there. 3 hours later, maybe, and quick tore down camp and hit the road, and we had about a 5-hour drive.
It was 6.
Oh, I slept a little bit of it.
Slept. I drove all the way.
But
You actually stayed awake more than you usually do.
yeah,
I don't know what was going on.
yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we got here early this morning, and we kind of just used today, like Brennan said, it was a warm day, just organize footage, edit photos, kind of clean stuff up, and get reorganized for hunting whitetails. And we're back out here. We got Aaron and Dylan on their way, and we got probably 2-3 days of hunting. We're not sure if we're going to hunt Sunday yet. It's going to kind of just depend on the weather and what we got on the cameras. We haven't pulled cards yet, so we're going to be doing that tomorrow. And hopefully we got some good bucks still to chase. I don't know if you want to fill kind of some of it on what we got for deer.
Yeah, we've got, well, we pretty much have, we start out every year with, we try to find about 10 or 12 different spots that we're going to focus on, and that kind of gives us, several different wind options. Usually after the first week or two, we start narrowing down and eliminating spots. And we've got it cut down to 4 or 5 good spots right now where we've got good solid bucks on the cameras consistently. And we are pretty much ready to hunt any wind with those 4 or 5 spots. And all 4 of them have pretty good bucks. And they have been in the daylight within the last week or two. It's just a matter of getting that right weather And tonight was decent weather, but tomorrow and Saturday are going to be primo. So we didn't want to force a sit tonight, especially with Dylan coming back into camp. We wanted to keep these spots fresh and go in there when the weather's at its best and give us our best chance, because this is probably going to be our last weekend of hunting out here until the late season. I doubt we're going to get back out here. We've got a lot of other stuff going on in October and November, but we want to make this first big cold front here count. So we want to sit it out and wait for the best weather, and then go in there and hopefully we get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hunt for sure tomorrow and Saturday, possibly Sunday, depending on what the movement's like, what the cameras look like tomorrow. And after that, Mike and Aaron are going to head back home, and Dylan and I are going to hit the road to western Nebraska. He's got an antelope tag, and I am going to pick up over-the-counter deer tag, and we're going to chase mule deer out there on public ground. So I don't really know what's going to happen out there. Dylan and I scouted the area a couple weeks ago. We seen deer, not a lot of deer, but we did see some good deer. Their season opened September 1st. Have no idea what kind of pressure that area gets that we scouted. But if it didn't get hit too bad, I think we got a chance. But I'm not overly optimistic about it, to be honest.
Yeah. You guys seen some pressure when you went on scouting?
Antelope, yeah. Antelope was open. We were there for the opener of antelope. Our main objective was scouting mule deer, but we seen a pile of antelope, and so Dylan bought a tag and hunting pressure. I mean, we drove through this piece of public land the day before antelope opened, and I think we counted probably, I shit you not, 40 to 50 like good bucks. And I'm not an antelope guru, but they were bucks we would have shot for sure. We drove that same route at the end of opening day. I think we seen 3, and one of them was being stalked by other hunters. So the pressure was insane. We've seen a ton of people. Just kind of hoping that the spots that we picked out to glass mule deer don't see that kind of pressure. Otherwise, we could have a real ass kicker next week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Leiden shot a bear today, too.
Oh, yeah. Brennen shot a bear. Took him 6 years to get a tag in Wisconsin, hunting up north. And he went with some dog handlers, and they treated a bear, and he stuck him with a bow. So
it's been a hell of a start to the season.
Yeah,
so.
For sure.
Anyway, that is about all we got for us right now. Like B said, they're heading to Nebraska. I got Kansas coming up here end of the month. And then we got Wisconsin starting, so we'll have a bunch more live and semi-live sessions starting here probably next week already. But yeah, we're just going to keep going with it, and I think we're going to call these babies Deer 30.
Deer 30.
Deer 30.
Yep.
And we're going to pound some beer while we do it, so
yep.
Cheers.
Yeah, I feel like we're slacking on the beer part here.
Yeah. So, if you guys are getting out right now, hope you guys are having a hell of a season so far. Good luck. Keep us informed if you have any success. Send photos, messages, whatever.
Yep.
And we love seeing it. So, we'll talk to you guys later. As always, give us a thumbs up. Send us some comments if you got any questions on anything in the video of what we're doing. And hit the subscribe button. So, we'll see you guys in the next video. Jump right.